What's up, guys? It's your boys Awoki back with more of the Chris Watts, Nicole Kessinger videos. We're going to be looking into more of the questions of the mistress, the mind of a mistress, everything that pretty much exposes this woman, part one kind of thing, because there's more and more and more stuff that we keep finding every single day. It might be small, very small, but it adds to the case. And people are like, give it a rest, get over it. Why? What is there a reason why we need to stop with this case when it comes to Nicole Kessinger? Is there a reason why you want to defend this woman? I just think it's very ironic that you guys want us to be done with this case, even though it's technically not done in thousands, if not millions of people's eyes, including myself. So, before we go any further, make sure you guys just subscribe to my channel by hitting that white bar icon down at the bottom right. Hit that bell icon next to it, so when I do post videos like this one, you guys will get that little ring notification that I've posted that video, and then you guys can watch, comment, like, and share. And again, I thank you guys so very much for that love and support that you guys continuously show. I'm so blessed to have all of you guys. We're almost to hitting 60K. We're trying to get to 100K, but I need your guys' help, so make sure you guys do the thing. And then also check out the link in the description for Midnight Mysteriologist. They haven't posted in a while, but definitely want to give some love back to the people that created these videos and so forth, because they are the ones that made these videos. Hello. So, with that being said, let's get into the first one, which is the mistress. When did they know exactly? Also, things that might have been thrown under the rug that for us we shouldn't have seen, have now seen now. Let's take a look.
So just for context,
Yes.
when people delete stuff off phones, usually we go,
No,
hold on a
no,
second.
no. It
And
wasn't
that's why I
malicious
wanted-
at all.
Mic drop right there.
It
I'm
wasn't
not saying
malicious
it's
at all.
So again, I'm going to have to do most of the commentary on this because the audio is not allowed to be used. So unfortunately, we can't go any more than my reading to you guys as well. And plus, there are people that are on here that are blind and can't read. So we need to give help to them. So, Tuesday, August 14th, 2018 at 3:09 p.m., officers concluded the surveillance on Chris Watts that were informed that he may be heading to location at 25-5 Claudia Court in Northern Glen, Colorado, Nicole Kessinger's apartment, which was the day after the murders, because they were pretty much watching who was going to and from the Watts family home. Now, on Tuesday, August 14th at approximately 15:09, which is 3:09, we were told he may be headed to that 1225 or 12255 Claude Court. This means authorities were aware of Nicole Kessinger within approximately 24 hours of the call for a welfare check missing person report on Shanann and the girls. So when they sit there and say, or the DA sits there and says that Nicole Kessinger came forward at her own volition to help with the case, that's BS, because we already knew about Nicole Kessinger. They knew about her because also the Anadarko had told about emails that were going back and forth. So that just puts a whole wrench in the system that she came forth to help the case. They already knew about her. So that's complete hogwash. How did authorities know about Nicole Kessinger so quickly? On Tuesday, August 7th, 2018, Chris informed a coworker of marital issues, and he said he would be staying at a friend's house. Interesting. Did the coworker tip off the authorities to the address, or did he, the coworker, tip off them after the fact? Because I wouldn't see why August 7th would be in significance, because the murders didn't take place until the 13th. So he probably had mentioned it to the company in Anadarko. But let's read further. Colorado Bureau of Investigations, CBI, his supervisor said he was off on PTO from 3/7/1 to 8/7/2018. Returned to work on 8/8 and through 9, 2018, and then was off Friday 8/10, with the request submitted several days, weeks in advance. His supervisor, Luke Eppel, also relative, that Watts spoke to him last week, probably Tuesday on that 7th of August, and stated that he and his wife were having problems and he would be staying with a friend. Right. In case his supervisor checked his GPS and found his vehicle was not at his residence at night. Eppel said he didn't ask any questions and told Watts if he needed anything to make his family his priority. I'm just finding out about this, that a coworker knew about it as well. But they weren't serious, remember? They weren't serious. According to the mistress, she deleted Chris from her life on August 14th. Did she know the authorities were already aware of her by then? Possibly. She might have gotten tipped off knowing that the company Anadarko had come forward. So she was probably trying to come in to do damage control to make sure that her name was not being tainted by news broadcastings or the law enforcement themselves. She's made it very clear that she was telling or came forward because she didn't want her name being tainted. She didn't want this to follow her for years on end. She literally told authorities that. So that kind of puts a wrench in that predicament as well. In reference to how she felt on Tuesday, August 14th, again, the day after the murders, okay, maybe his family is in danger and they're not coming back. And they're not staying with a friend. That just sounds so confusing in itself. Did somebody inform the mistress on Tuesday, August 14th, that the authorities knew her address, possibly knew about her relationship with Chris? Is this why she deleted everything ahead of the meeting with the agents? Who was squealing to Miss NK? Was it Chris? Was it a friend? Was it a coworker? That kind of throws around. Because if she didn't delete anything, that could have been a more incriminative for her, because they would have saw that. But again, with deleting messages, even like the agent in the beginning says, when you delete things, it kind of makes you look bad. Is this why she deleted with the agents? Did she come forward on her own after deleting anything? No, she did not come at her own. She came to better her name. The following timeline is based on Verizon Wireless's call logs belonging to the mistress NK, as well as other texts and call logs pulled from the discovery files, and not all of them. Okay, so August 13th at 9:30 p.m., Colin says he walked over to Chris Watts' house to find him cleaning the house alone. Ain't that red flags in itself? You see a man after finding that his wife and his kids have gone missing, and this man is deciding to clean his house? Ain't that red flags? I need to buy myself red flags. So I watch this, I could just... Chris Watts, Mistress, and NK talk for 51 minutes. We already know this from before. Colin and Lidstrom are both at Chris Watts' house while Chris Watts is on the phone with NK. Ain't that very sus in itself? Are both at Chris Watts' house while Chris is on the phone. Chris Watts tells them he wants to get some rest, so Colin leaves. But you're on the phone with NK for 51 minutes. And then NK calls Chris at 11:09 August 13th. Kessinger calls the Watts and held a 51-minute phone call, which we already know about from the 9:48 till down there. Let's see. If we go to the next page, NK begins searching Google Shanann. They hang up. She calls him back after 6 minutes. That's a little sus again. They call each other back and forth between 12:08, 1:12, 1:51. Watts plays phone tag with the FPD while he's on the phone with Nicole, having them try to hear each other and try to make their stories similar as well. Again, she doesn't answer. NK calls back. Watts made an unanswered call to Kessinger. She then called him back seconds later, and they held a 10-minute conversation. This right here is so suspicious. And they're like, yeah, she's not involved. I common sense people, okay? Sandy Rusek, Shanann's mother, calls Chris Watts at 4:58 in the morning, called Wits and hold a 4-minute conversation, and then a couple hours later holds another 6-minute conversation. Probably ask, "Where's my daughter? Where is she? Have you been looking?" Watts perpetuated his fallacy, telling Sam, "I'm hoping she's with somebody or someone I don't know about because I've exhausted all the people I know of, and I'm optimistic we will reunite again. People have been stopping by from time to time." Oh man, all this stuff just makes you want to punch him in the face. Watts transferred one last image of his semi-nude NK selfie into his secret calculator. So he knows his wife is gone by this point, so he's putting them in the calculator so that officers will not find out about Nicole. Obviously, why would he put more of these photos of her in a secret calculator when he knows that she's gone, like Shanann's gone? Kessinger spends 4 hours searching Watts and Shanann's disappearance. Kessinger spent nearly 4 hours searching for new outlets and new accounts of Shanann's disappearance. That's not sus. When I say sus, I mean suspicious. Chris Watts tells others he's doing media interviews. Watts began to tell others about it. NK calls her mom at 12:53. Utah called Watts twice. Watts told Sam an Amber Alert is not applicable to the fact as they are known presently. Watts added, they just swept the house with dogs to pick up a scent. Watts said he has completed all his interviews with the news outlets. NK calls her friend Jim at 2:20. She calls her Jim back and forth as much as she calls Chris. And then after Chris has been arrested, she calls nothing but Jim. But we're supposed to leave Jim alone. Odd. Watts added Fox 31 reporter to his contacts. Why would you add a reporter to your contacts? Watts called Sandy and held a 10-minute conversation, which he was probably telling her all about the news broadcasting. Kessinger searched Google for topics like, can cops trace text messages? So in between the morning and this afternoon is when she probably started freaking out because of her messages. She started deleting stuff. She pretty much was trying to play the victim card. Watts told Addie, "Good morning, America has contacted my sister." Interesting, which is Jamie. Google searches the internet for new stories on the case. She's pretty much doing damage control, making sure that nothing is probably having her name that's associated with it. And then she's deleting all these things and so forth. Watts told Nick Thayer that he was leaving now, stopping for gas, and I'll be there. Had early agreed to spending the night with the Thayers, which is another shocker because their daughter was around the same age as the girls. Which there are channels that are blaming the Thayers, which is ridiculous. Okay, so again, calendar entry, Chris Watts, phone titled Talk. Scheduled to begin at this time. Interesting. Kessinger searched the internet for new stories, like we said before. Chris Watts tells Nick Thayer that he's leaving the house. Surveillance vehicles that are informed Chris Watts may be headed to Nicole's house apartment. Did he actually go there, or did he go straight to the Thayers? Oop, go back. Boop. Okay. And then that's when Nicole calls her dad for extreme damage control because she's getting ready to find out that she's going to have a another interview. Nick told Watts, "Hey man, we're sitting outside thinking of you. I'm talking to an investigator friend. She recommended maybe not talking without a lawyer. I know this might get there too late." Yeah, well, he didn't think about that because he never talked with a lawyer. After a brief call to the Thayers, Nick advised that they would drive to the police department and wait for Watts to finish. Interesting. Oh, it's playing. Okay, so Nicole calls the Frederick Police Department after she's been on the phone with her dad multiple times. That's not very sus in itself. Private phone call NK. Private landline in Denver. Who's that? Then she calls her dad. Then she calls a private number multiple different times in the afternoon. NK and her dad meet with agents in the park for the first interview. Ooh, look at all this. Ooh. Lots of talking between her dad, her mom, this private number. Not a lot with Chris because she knows that Chris is talking with authorities. Pause and take a screenshot to read better. Oh, we're reading better. Trust me. Man, they talk a lot amongst each other more than I talk with my parents. But again, I'm not murdering my family and need help to be bailed out. Okay, audio on the next slides, and the Mistress, Nicole K's dad, Agent Colback assisting the text agent. We can't listen to it because of audio reasons again. Nicole's dad, yeah, when I'd go over there Wednesday, yeah, oh, I called you Wednesday morning. She acts like she doesn't remember any of this information. That's when we started discussing you guys needed to get everything that I just, you can understand the importance. Oh no, questions. We were, like I said, people lie, phone records don't, and they really help specifically establish dates and times. Man, it's just like all over the place. Who is she referring to as we? That's when we started discussing you guys need to get everything. Who is she referring to when she says you guys? As in, interesting. On the other hand, yeah, we are just wanting to give you everything, but we also want to be protected in doing so. She wants to give information, but they also want to be protected. So he's like coercing or coaxing. And when he's done, I'll give you the copy of this. Is there a password or anything like it? Will it lock up after a period of time? Yeah. This is like so. Notice the two circle statements made by NK's father. Oh, hold on. Are mislabeled as being said by NK. Absolutely. That's why we come to you guys, yeah, to pound this and pound it down until there's nothing left. That sounds. The way that they speak, like when you see it in front of you by words instead of like dialogue. The following transcript of the statement and question from NK's dad during the remainder of this interview were not included in the audio file that was released in the Discovery. Why? So, just a quick open question. The way the legal system runs is it, if he totally confesses and pleads guilty, is there a reason for a trial? Or do they just pack enough discoveries together that this proves what he said? And so the purpose of, and he goes to kind of court and it's done. Or the purpose for discovery is we have to we're obligated by law to share everything that we know with the public defender or the private attorney. Absolutely right. Okay. It doesn't go the other way. They don't have to share anything with us, so we're obligated to give them everything we have, no matter what. So they're trying to like do a deal here by, oh, if he does this, we won't be on trial and the case gets closed, right? So he's trying to fish for questions. Legal system. Okay, we're on the route run. Okay. The next one. Okay. So the prosecution should be conducting their own investigation into what occurred, not just talking one person's word for it. Or, yeah, not taking one person or taking the one person's word for it, especially after we know part of Chris Watts' first confession was a lie, plus his second confession was a complete lie. Why does her dad expect them to do work of the public defender's office? Interesting, very, very interesting. But if he pleads guilty, though, he's fishing without hopefully not being found mysterious, as you will. And then it starts the legal process. So if he pleads guilty, could that happen today? Certainly. I mean, he could go to his attorneys. You've seen it happen before. If he pleads guilty, is that information still available? Absolutely, because there's still got to be legal process. The agent finds it necessary to remind Nicole's dad that Chris Watts is entitled to the proper legal process. Find out a lot of information that he's trying to get from this agent. The company will prefer that as much as they can be before it be. God, I'm just so sad. Like, this is like so much like it's just not good in their best interest. The job of all jobs I've heard in my life and effed it up. I think people are going to think that I am like the reason why he went off the deep. No! Really? Like, duh. The jobs of all jobs. I don't want to look at that one. Nicole Kessinger searched Google for Amber Fry's book deal. Amber Fry's net worth. Did people hate Amber Fry? That's not sus right there. 82 days after this interview, Chris Watts pleads guilty. There was some yelling and some crying, but eventually he acknowledged that his life was over after he killed Shanann. He would have been facing years of legal challenges, and best case scenario, he would have been acquitted. Worst case scenario, he gets put to death, which apparently Colorado doesn't have anymore. Chris Watts' girlfriend provided authorities with bombshelling information during investigation of his missing pregnant wife and 2 daughters. Did you get the bombshell evidence? Because I didn't. The girlfriend, Colorado man serving multiple life sentences with murder, pregnant wife, 2 daughters, played a man role. Watts updated Mistress, helping investigators solve murder. She never helped. What is this? She never helped at all. The cell phone pings, there's 3 of them, okay? I want to make that very clear. Is when a signal is sent to a cell phone and the cell phone responds by reporting its location. To omit is to leave out or leave unmentioned. Okay? Three times. July 14th at 10:24 in the morning, Nicole admitted to being at the Watts house that morning, which it pinged. Okay? I'm trying to make this very clear because the people that keep coming to me saying Kay wasn't there that morning, her phone pinged because she was traveling through. Hold on. The second time on July 18th at 4:34, she made a call from Frederick, Colorado to a VM deposit CL for a minute. Nicole and Chris both confirmed being at that house at the time. And again, Shanann was not there because she was in North Carolina for the 5 weeks. The third time she was there, which is 4:40 the same day, Frederick, Colorado, incoming call, being at the Saratoga Trail at the exact same time again. 3 times. Different from the 4th time, where it had reached August 13th. At 6:16 a.m., Frederick to Milwaukee, she calls Jim. NK denies being in Frederick on the morning of the murders. Red flags everywhere, okay? The 3 times that she was there on July 4th or 14th, July 18th for 2 times that day, and then on the 13th of August, she decides that, oh yeah, I wasn't there. The evidence is right here in front of us. Her phone says otherwise. This is also one of the only mornings she doesn't speak with Chris Watts on the phone because she was already with Chris that morning. Why would you need to call somebody if you're already talking to them in person? To be clear, the first ping on the phone records is listed as July 14th. This is not the first time NK went to that Watts home. This is just the first time we see the phone pinged in Frederick, Colorado, proved by the call records. I will enlarge each of these in a few seconds. Again, it's right here in front of us. This is 100% proof that she was there the morning of the murders. How can you get this wrong, people? And when I say people, I mean the people that love NK and love Chris. Nicole Kessinger and Chris Watts both told authorities that Nicole's first time visiting the family home in Frederick, Colorado was the 4th of July, but she didn't make a phone call that day. He woke up on the morning of July 4th, Kessinger's house, because he didn't have to work that day. It's a holiday. When he woke up, he had 10 missed calls from Shanann. I'd be calling too. He went outside and called Shanann back, and Shanann was pissed. Well, of course she would be pissed, because he's not answering his phone, because he's too busy at Nicole Kessinger's house. Shanann yelled at him and asked him where he was at. He told Shanann he was sleeping, and Shanann told him she didn't know where he was at and hung up on him. I see exactly why she was pissed. He went back inside and told Kessinger he had to go home in case Shanann called him back. Because you wanted to know the sensors, possibly. She probably was like, well, why aren't the sensors coming off if you're at home? Kessinger asked him if he was going to come back. He said no. Kessinger was pissed. He left. That's why you don't cheat. Or you also don't cheat because you love your wife. Duh. Kessinger said she felt like she was always going to be the second fiddle. You don't say. Kessinger told him she researched online if Mistress could turn into a real relationship. So that's another Google search that we don't know about. Huh. Okay, again, Nicole's phone records, 4 calls, both confirm the 3 pins that she was there. But then she wants to not confirm the 4th ping that morning of the murders. Both admitted, left out. Why? And you're telling me that she couldn't have been charged for this murder? Here we go. Big boldness. You guys can see right in front of our faces for all those that keep telling us that she wasn't there the morning of the murders. The 14th, she said she was there. Okay? I know I keep reiterating this, but people keep coming to me like this. According to Nicole's typed notes that she sent later on about July 14th, went to this house to drop him off after he visited the Shelby Mustang Museum in Boulder. While at his house, I felt uncomfortable. But you were there before on other occasions. As if I didn't belong there. You didn't belong there. You're right about that one. He had built a beautiful life and made me think that there was still a chance for him to fix things with his wife. I told him that I did not think it was fair to Shanann Watts or to me that he was trying to live 2 lives by being in a relationship with both of us at the same time. Said that I think he either needed to fix things, said no mistress ever, with her and let me go, or he needed to move on towards trying to finalize his divorce, which they never started the divorce process. They talked about possibly separating, and that's probably what threw him over the edge. I told him that I thought his problems with Shanann were fixable and that he should focus on trying to rekindle the relationship that they had before given up. But that's why you told your friend Charlotte that you had the best sex ever and that you were hooked and you Googled butt stuff. He said that Shanann Watts was set on separating, and that so was he. He said that Shanann Watts was on or something. She gets her way, or if she wants something, she gets her way. Alrighty then. At this moment, I realized that he might be lying to me about his separation, so I started quizzing him on things he had told me earlier. Shocker. I asked him if he was actively trying to have a child with Shanann Watts since they had unprotected booty. He said no. She's just trying to throw him under the bus, of course. Had went out, we stopped there just real quick on the way back, and we were not very long, but at the time I saw a picture of his wife and one of the kids. This is incriminating evidence, and they did nothing with it. Shocker. Go to the next slide. So the other 2 times, which was the same day because she was still there, which was at 4:43 or 4:34 VM deposit, 1 minute. July 18th, incoming call from CL for 11 minutes. She said she was there. Okay. August 13th, she denies it. Nicole Kessinger's phone located was pinged at 6:16 a.m. on the morning of the murders when she made a 1-minute phone call to her friend Jim. This is also one of the only mornings Nicole Kessinger doesn't call Chris Watts before work. They typically call each other when they're going to work. And she was late. She didn't have an alibi. It is right in front of your face, law enforcement, and you're telling me that she had no involvement? This literally speaks volumes right here. On Monday 18th, or Monday the 8th, or not Monday the 8th, Monday, August 13th, continued from above's conversation. Texted on phone, suggested the bank account idea again after he told me that he thought Shanann Watts was gone from the night at the friend's house. Asked him if any money was missing from their bank account. Watts said no. Yeah, because unfortunately, she's murdered. So they knew that already. Chris Watts informs me his family is gone, and he asked me to call him when I have a chance. When I call, he informed me that the cops were at his house. I was unaware that his wife had missed a doctor's appointment. Okay. Didn't get a response, or that the friend stopped by the house earlier to check on her, because you knew exactly where she was. According to NK's type notes, again, Chris Watts informed me that Shanann Watts' friend Nicole had called them. Chris said that the media are arriving, all the stuff that we pretty much know already. Why would Nicole be helping Shanann Watts if she was the one who called the cops? I told him that it is possible to divide paychecks into multiple bank accounts, but that if he considered doing that, he would need to make sure that he was responsible and that his mortgage and his kids and standard monthly bills were covered first. Why would you be talking about this with your mistress? Told him that if Shanann ever wanted child support, he would still be required by law to show proof of that income, even if again, they shouldn't be talking about this if they were trying to fix things or Nicole wanted them to get fixed. I suggested that if he decided to do that, perhaps he contributed a small amount that wouldn't impact his current living situation, but would give a cushion for his first month's bills when he transferred to an apartment, but it was on his discretion. Okay. NK omits any explanation for why her phone would ping in Frederick, Colorado at 6:16 on the morning of the murders. Shocker, she left that out. But yet it did. Her phone records proved that, which means she was in Frederick, Colorado the morning of the murders. Hello, we see it right here. Why weren't Chris Watts and Nicole Kessinger pressured further on why her phone pinged in Frederick, Colorado on the morning of the murders? Every other time the phone records show her phone pinged in Frederick, Colorado, she admits to being at the Watts family home, but why would this time be any different? Tell me that, law enforcement. Please, if you are law enforcement that worked on this case, please tell me why the 3 times that it was okay for her to tell you that she was there, but the morning of the murders, that she was like, oh, I don't know why I would do that. Seriously? It's right there in front of you. How much more do we have to dumb this down for it to show that Nicole Kessinger was at the location the morning of the murders? We can't put her hands physically on anything, but we can put her location at the house. Frederick, Colorado. And again, why are we leaving Jim out of this? Why are the law enforcement talking to or agreeing with Nicole and not talking to Jim? It's like common sense. But no, you don't have to be an educated in this or be a professional to know that this is red flags all over the board. Oh, it's right there in front of us. The mind of a mistress right there in front of us. She lies, she manipulates, she's narcissistic. She literally tells you what you want to hear without making herself look criminally involved. She got away with murder or involvement in murder. For those that defend Nicole Kessinger, tell me why her phone pinged in Frederick, Colorado the morning of the murder. And do not say that she was going to work, because you see the other 3 times she was at the house. She specifically said she was at the house. But then the morning of the murder, I don't know how my phone pinged her. And that was it. They didn't pressure her any further. Why? Lie detector test. Hook her up. If she says no, get a warrant. Like, come on. I've seen, like, smaller cases have more pressure on the individuals, like the first 48 I've watched and so forth. They are literally not able to have their phones on them. They're literally talked like they're from in a basic training drill sergeant, like just getting yelled at. And Nicole Kessinger's like, yeah, I wasn't there. I did a couple things that morning. I don't know why I showed up to late work. And they're like, oh, we believe you 100%. It's literally what they... I'm just so flabbergasted that people are like, Nicole Kessinger wasn't there. She's innocent. Okay, she's innocent until proven guilty. But give us that chance to prove her guiltiness because of these 4 phone calls. That just signs, sealed, delivered her involvement. You can't tell me otherwise. What do you guys think? Do you agree with me? Do you disagree? Let me know down in the comments. I definitely want to know your disagreements, your agreements. We can talk positively without being bullied, without being nasty to each other. We can debate in the comments right now. So go do that. Don't forget to subscribe, hit the like button, and we'll see you guys in the next video. Please take care, be safe, and as always, keep nerding on, and we'll see you guys next time.